We're in a process now of looking at a lot of braided funding and how we bring to bear all of those different funding sources in helping the student. I think if as state directors, we keep in mind that our ultimate goal is to work with the student and trying to help them to navigate the different things that are going on there, then we're better suited for ourselves. Because one of the things that sometimes is one of those areas that we don't really have an understanding on is making sure that we have all of the resources that are necessary in order to support that student's educational opportunities that they have. So we need to really make sure that we understand what's available out there, and we can manage all of those systems together. And of course, it's going to get overwhelming because you have different funding sources, different accountability methods, but the overall objective is to make sure that the student can be successful. So that's why it's really important that we braid all of the resources and we bring the partners in, because those partners are really the experts as a part of the process. And so what we need to do is just bring those partnerships together. That will make it much easier for us to fund and sustain those bridge programs or those integrated option programs to bear, because there's limited resources. And if we can bring those partnerships together and make those partnerships happen, it will be better off for our adult education programs as well as our students.
One of the things sort of unique in Kentucky has been our adoption of the Common Core state standards for adult education. And that's been a real policy area in terms of raising the expectations in our adult education system, that our students are prepared to be college and career ready. So as a result of that, our hope would be that our students are increasingly better prepared to be college and career ready, which would fit very well with the accelerating idea around this initiative, so that our students could move more quickly through the pathway and to be ready to enter college. For those that may choose to remain in post-secondary education following their accelerating opportunity experience, that they would be better prepared to maybe progress on towards an associate degree, maybe even a baccalaureate degree.
Policy change is essential to sustainability of a career pathway model. I've already shared with you the enhanced funding model, and so I think it's essential that anyone moving forward be sure they have a very well-defined model. They have a funding formula that supports that model. But another piece that has been very important in Washington State is a very rigorous approval process, so that programs approving to be a career pathway must ensure that they're having fidelity to the model and that the pieces are in place to ensure support to students. I think another policy thing that was very important, when ability to benefit was eliminated from federal financial aid, that of course severed our pathway because it eliminated Pell Grants for students that didn't have a GED or high school diploma. So what we did was change state policy for our state need grant, which is our state federal financial aid, so that it could be used for students without a high school diploma or GED, as we did in the past with ability to benefit. We also made sure that we included the performance metrics from the career pathways, the things we were measuring to show that students were being successful, that those got wrapped into the performance measures for the state, so that on an ongoing basis we can continue to prove the success of the model and the work the students are doing. We then also linked the approval process to become an approved IBEST program to the legislated opportunity grant, so that we made sure that by meeting approval processes that automatically approved those programs to be able to access the funds for Opportunity Grant for students?
Ohio has used data to sustain career pathway momentum in the following ways. We've used the National Reporting System data that really supports the Workforce Investment Act Title II to identify how many of our adult education students are going on to post-secondary education. We also have a rich interagency data matching process between our agency, the Department of Education, and the Department of Job and Family Services, which is the Workforce Investment Act Title I administrator in the state of Ohio. So we're able to track not only GED completion outcomes, but also students that are in our career pathway initiative, how many of those go into post-secondary education, both at a community college level as well as an adult career technical program.
We have a very good data collection system that collects demographics, so therefore we can really see what the population and who the population is within our state that we're serving in our career pathway programs. And we're hoping that we'll be better able or better equipped to use that data in order to just determine who's actually coming to our bridge programs, who are coming to what we call our accelerating opportunities or our ICAPS programs, which is a program through Jobs for the Future that we are working very closely with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation as well as the Joyce Foundation from Illinois. So we're really hoping that we can get an understanding of what students benefit the best from these programs. And so we have to have the data collection in order to determine that. Because when you're looking long range, you're looking at some of the research aspects, you're looking at how can you determine and do research on which students do better. Do they do better in those career pathway programs, or are they better suited for traditional approaches? Or do we look at the basic skills? Do we look at the level 1 of our basic skill programs and compare it to those that are at the upper end? So data is very important as it relates to just moving our students forward, because what it does, it advises what we need to change or what we need to enhance in some of our programs and services.